Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds, back in the studio at the halfway point of the week. So, in the offseason, the Kansas City Chiefs did a lot of shuffling when it came to their offensive line, and one of the guys they picked up, Kyle Long, had been injury-prone, and he still hasn't really played for the Chiefs. I think, really, when they picked him up, it was kind of more of a, let's get a veteran in here, help these guys, because he had been injury-prone, but with the way Creed has been playing in the middle, I mean, he's been arguably one of the best centers in the league. And then we've got Trey Smith coming up and some of these other guys starting to click really nice and get Mahomes some protection. Do you think we even really need Kyle out there?
They have him on the active list because they want to keep him around just in case as the Chiefs progress probably into the playoffs, just so they have some kind of a backup there. Long is a three-time Pro Bowl All-Star with the Chicago Bears, and you're absolutely right. He's been terribly injury-prone, not just with the Chiefs, but with other teams. With the Chiefs, I think they got him already injured, as a matter of fact, and he re-aggravated an injury in the camp, in preseason camp, a leg injury, and he hadn't played all year. He has not played. He's been inactive all year long. Well, they activated him 3 weeks ago, and you have 3 weeks to stay on from the physically unable to return list. You can stay 3 weeks on that. Then you have to declare yourself. Well, the Chiefs have declared him active, but I doubt very much that he plays any at all. Probably will suit up, but doubt very much that Kyle Long plays any unless it's absolutely needed. He is a good player, still probably has some level of playing capacity with him, but whether or not he can go on a regular basis, probably not.
It ain't broke, so don't fix it. That front line has been playing great, especially the last few weeks, getting movement, able to run the ball. They seem to be dancing the same dance, and that's exactly what you want when you're looking at your offensive line. So hopefully you're right. I think that's probably on down the line. In case something happens, we got this guy to go and step up, which would be nice to have, especially at the end of the season. So, speaking of football, we do have a couple of surprise Southwest Missouri teams playing for another state title. It's not their first dance, but when are they going to be dancing again?
As a matter of fact, not only not their first one, in the case of Webb City, it is their 16th try for a state championship. That's what they would get, 16 state championships if they won most in Missouri. They're 15 right now, tied for the most state championships. They will play, as will Lamar, their neighbor just up to the north. And Lamar is going for their 9th state championship. These are two really tradition-rich programs. And by tradition-rich, I'm talking about really the 21st century. Webb City does date back to the final portion of the 20th century with their level of play, their championship level. But they both will play on Friday, and they both play Friday at Faurot Field in Columbia. Lamar plays a 3 o'clock game, and when they, hopefully for Lamar, have won over a very good St. Charles Lutheran team that's undefeated and very high scoring, that'll be a good matchup, good test for Lamar. That's the 3 o'clock game. And then the 7 o'clock game under the lights will be Webb City, and Webb City's taking on Holt, and that's for the Class 5 state championship. Now, you're wondering where Holt is. It's in the St. Louis area. It's in Wentzville, and it's a pretty good team. They've lost some games, but you know what? So is Webb City. This is a down year for Webb City. They lost 3 games, but yet you know what?
They're still in a championship, so that's all that matters.
Championship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still going for one, and if they were to win it, it would be number 16.
Who are the recruiting guys for these high school teams? And I don't know how the hell you're going to convince a family to go live in Webb City so kid can play high school football, but it wouldn't be a bad thing. So St. Louis Blues really had a great start to their season, in my opinion. I think they had a good, they didn't make it very far in the end of the last season, but I thought they would, if they could retain, they could probably make a pretty nice little run. The Lightning, still one of the best in hockey. How'd they do against them last night?
Well, the Blues have faltered a little bit here in recent weeks, and they're not in first place in their division, but they're pretty close to it. The fact is, they played the Tampa Bay Lightning last night and played them again tonight in Florida. Last night was in St. Louis. Tampa Bay got off to a 3-0 lead. 3-0 in the first period, and that is all Tampa Bay scored. They were shut out from there on, at that point on, and the Blues win 4-3 in a shootout. So how does that work in the point standing? Well, it means the Blues get 2 points. You get 2 points for your team winning. but the Lightning gets 1 point for taking the game into overtime. That's how that works. Anyway, the Blues won the game 4-3. They play again tonight. They get on the plane, fly to Florida, and the Blues, this is awfully tough, they stay down in Florida for a couple more games.
Well, it kind of feels like we're in Florida right now in the Ozarks,
yes,
so
doesn't it?
It's kind of funny. We normally be like, screw you guys, enjoy the beach, but now it's like, hey, we'll enjoy the beach ourselves here. We knew it was going to happen after Michigan beat Ohio State. There would be a little bit of a reshuffle in the top 4 teams for college football, and now it has been reshuffled. Well, at least one card's in there now, and one card's out of there.
The fact of the matter remains that the bowl rankings, which are the official, and that's by official we mean this is the way it would end up, for this week have been released. There is one more, and that one more comes up on Sunday afternoon. Of course, why Sunday? Well, that's because the teams need to get ready for their bowl games. All the bowl games are matched up with these final rankings that come out, and teams, in some cases, have only a week to get ready. But as far as the national championship is concerned, the number 1 team is Georgia, 2 is Michigan, 3 is Alabama, and 4 is Cincinnati. So if the season were to end today, it would be Georgia versus Cincinnati in one semifinal game and Michigan against Alabama in the other semifinal game, and the winners would play for the national championship, which I think is January 9th, if I'm not mistaken, 9th or 10th, somewhere around there. And I'd have to put my money on Alabama versus Georgia again. However, they play each other Saturday in the Southeastern Conference Championship game. There's going to be a winner. There's going to be a loser. No ties. There are no ties in college football.
You got a chance to make that bet already.
So what happens is, in my opinion, if Georgia does lose, and folks, don't sell Alabama short, if Georgia does lose a game, they don't get knocked out. They've been undefeated all year long, and they're number 1. They would slip probably 2, 3, or 4. Alabama, of course, would remain in there. Michigan plays Iowa for the Big Ten Conference Championship on Saturday night. Don't sell Iowa short. They are not a flashy team. They're not tinsel and flashing lights and all that sort of thing. They're just a basic hardcore football team that has lost some games. Michigan has had a great run. They're playing well. Should be a very good game. And Cincinnati is playing Houston for the American Athletic Conference Championship. Again, a pretty good matchup. Cincy should win the game they're playing in Cincinnati. Houston is pretty good. Houston has a lot of good athletes on their team, so there are some surprising things could happen. Who's number 5 in the rankings and waiting to take the place? Oklahoma State. You know who Oklahoma State opened the season with this year? Bears. And the Bears gave them a tough time.
Yeah, and they should be, the Bears should be traveling to go play a playoff game this weekend, but that's not how it went down.
But that's, of course, a different level. Yeah. That's Division I AA. Notre Dame is number 6. They are lying in the weeds. They're just waiting for something to happen. And if they, by some chance,
that would be so crazy. But for that to happen, you've got to have at least two of the four top teams lose this weekend, which I don't see happening. And, some magic would have to happen for Notre Dame to get in. If Oklahoma State, impossible. That'd be interesting, but I don't know. I think the top 4 we've got right now is probably going to be the top 4. We'll see, though. That's probably why I don't put any money on these, chocolate chips on these games.
That's much better.
Yeah, that's why I just let you do it all for me. So Missouri State Bears have a conference basketball game tonight, which is kind of weird. It's usually a little bit later in the season before that starts, but they're doing it tonight.
A total and complete anomaly, and it's not just the Bears. It's all the teams in the Missouri Valley Conference play either tonight or tomorrow night. And then no more conference games until after the turn of the year. What on earth? Well, it's an experiment. Some other schools have tried it in the past, and the Valley thought they would, just to see how things work out. The Bears will be on the road, play Illinois State, Redbird Arena, Normal, Illinois. The Bears are probably the better team in this. They'll go in as the favorite, but again, on the road in college basketball, who knows what's going to happen. Anyway, it should be an interesting test. Bears play Illinois State tonight in Normal, Illinois, and then Saturday afternoon here in town. One of the biggest names in college basketball to ever come here, the 12th-ranked Brigham Young University Cougars from Provo, Utah, in here. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, you can be there Saturday. I know that for sure. So tonight, in a top-secret location in the United States at 12:01 Eastern, there's going to be a group of lawyers celebrating, drinking champagne, high-fiving each other because you know what? They're about to make a lot of money.
Well, you can look at it that way, yeah, in a sense, because the Major League Baseball contract does come to a conclusion. It evaporates at 1 minute before midnight Eastern time. That's 1 minute before 11 o'clock out here. And it's really not a secret location. They're in Texas, is where they've been doing the negotiating. And
the lawyers' top secret location.
Well, the lawyers are in some bar somewhere.
That's what I'm saying. Their top secret location.
Well, the circumstances are this. The Major League Baseball has not said what they're going to do when the contract expires, but the chances are they will probably issue a lockdown. This is a normal labor procedure. And what they'll do when they lock it down is, well, the players are not allowed to work out in the major league facilities. There is no dealing. There's nothing. Baseball is in limbo. Meanwhile, the contract talks hopefully go on. They are scheduled for another session today, but as always, there's a large gap between what the players want and what the owners want. Most of the sides, both sides, and most of the individuals seem to think that there will be a conclusion somewhere. Maybe later on this winter, hopefully before spring training. It's probably not going to be tonight. And Major League Baseball, although it's not official yet, probably will shut down with a lockdown.
Yep, and a lot of people at those facilities going to have probably a month or two off.
They won't be doing well. The employees, they'll be cleaning up and keeping files and things like that. But in terms of wheeling and dealing,
Yep. Well, hey, it'll be a nice holiday for everyone. Ned, you enjoy the nice weather, and I'll see you tomorrow, sir.